Good morning, students. We are studying the chapter Force and the Laws of Motion. In last two videos, I explained you what is the Newton's first law. This is the law of inertia. I explained you about the inertia, what is inertia, and on which factors depend. I told you that inertia are of three types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. I explained a lot of examples related to the inertia. Now, in the last lecture, I explained you Newton's second law. This is a really important law in which I explain you what is the law and how can you derive this law. So, along with this law, you have to write the derivation. I explained you that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. The important condition is the force should be applied in the direction of motion of the body. So, this was the Newton's second law in which we derived that F is equal to m into A. If you did not see the earlier video, then you should see that videos so that you will be clear then what is the Newton's second law and what is F is equal to m into A. So, along with the Newton's second law, you will derive all the law up to the F is equal to m into A. And what is the Newton's second law? The rate of change of momentum. It means if the velocity of a body is moving, is changing, it means its momentum will also changes. You should know what is momentum. Momentum is the mass multiplied with the velocity. I explained you in last lectures. So the rate of change of momentum is, it means if you want to change the momentum of the body. Momentum is if you want to change the velocity of a body. A constant, having the constant mass. Now its mass is not changes. So if you want to change the momentum of the body, it means you want to change the velocity of the body, then this is directly proportional to the force applied. How much you want to change the velocity? If you want to change the velocity, if you want to change the greater value of momentum, you also have to apply the greater value of force. If suppose you are riding in a bicycle and you have some velocity, suppose you are having the velocity of 2 meters per second. Now you want to change the velocity. Suppose this is example 2 meters per second, this is the initial velocity, and by paddling you want to change your velocity up to the 10 meters per second, or your friend who is again moving with the velocity of 2 meters per second and you want to change his velocity up to the 5 meters per second. So in which case you have to apply the more force? Is your friend will apply more force or you? Obviously you, because you are changing your velocity in large quantities compared to your friend. It means the rate of change of momentum, how much momentum you want to change, is directly proportional to the force applied. The large quantity you want to change the momentum, the large force you have to be applied. This is one of the example. Another one is the rate of change of momentum. What is the meaning of the rate? Rate means is inversely proportional to the time divided by the time. The rate of means divided by the time. It means this force applied is actually inversely proportional to the time taken. Okay, again by explaining this one, because I explained you in last lecture what is the Newton's second law, I derived the law, but in this part I am going to tell you the different applications of this law. So before going through the application, you should know deeply what is the Newton's second law. So that's why I am explaining you again. So the time is inversely proportional, force is inversely proportional to time taken. For example, this is you and this is your friend. Okay? And both of you are moving with the same velocity, that is 2 meters per second. Now, both of you want to change your velocity up to the 10 meters per second. Now, the condition is, you are taking only 2 seconds to change your velocity. And your friend is taking 5 seconds to change his velocity. In which case, you have to apply more force. Or we can say, which one of both of you have to apply the more force? Obviously, it is you. Why? Because you are taking the less interval of time. You are taking the small time to change the momentum. So it means this force is inversely proportional to the time taken to change the momentum of the body. So this was the Newton's second law, in which I explained you what is the Newton's second law and how it depends on the change of momentum and also on the time taken. So after understanding the law, just try to understand some application based on this law. First, applications. You have seen when a cricket player catch a ball, even you play a cricket, when you play cricket and suppose you are catching the ball, what you do? You always move your hand like this. It means you always move your hand in backward direction. So why we always do like this? You can imagine that if you don't do like this, your hands will be hurt. Why it happened? So let's understand it by using the Newton's second law. So actually what happened when a ball is moving towards you, when you are going to catch a ball, this ball has a momentum. Momentum is this ball has mass and as well as the velocity. So a ball which is coming towards you having some momentum. Okay. Now you are going to catch the ball. What happened after catching the ball? What happened about the momentum of the ball? When you catch a ball, your velocity of this ball becomes 0. It means initially if this ball has some velocity, it means it has some momentum. But when you catch a ball, you make the momentum of the body 0. Because the velocity of the body, the final velocity of the ball becomes 0. Since the final velocity of the balls becomes 0, its momentum will also become 0. It means here the momentum is going to be changes. Suppose this ball having the momentum P. And finally when you catch the ball, this ball having the momentum 0. Finally. So the change in momentum is 0 minus this one. Okay. So this is a change in momentum. And we know that for a particular ball and for a particular catch, this momentum is constant. You can't change this. You can't change the mass of the ball, you can't change the velocity of the ball. So this momentum is constant. Now, again I am taking two examples, okay? Both are same, this change in momentum are same. Now in this case, you are taking a ball and you are catching like this. So what are you taking? You are doing? You are increasing the time to catch the ball. It means you are increasing the time to change the momentum of the ball becomes 0. The final velocity, the final momentum of the ball becomes 0. But when you catch like this, you increase the time taken by you to change the momentum. It means suppose, now you are taking the 5 seconds to change the momentum. So if you are increasing the time, I explained you अभी बताया था मैंने आपको, I explained you that time is inversely proportional to the time taken. By increasing the time taken to change the momentum, you can decrease the force applied. I explained you that F that proportional to the rate of change of momentum, that is mv minus mu upon t. It means force is inversely proportional to the time taken. By increasing the time, you can decrease the value of the force. So if you are catching like this, it means what are you doing? You are increasing the time to change the momentum of the ball to be 0. So here, if you increase the time taken to change the momentum to be 0, it means what are you doing? You are decreasing the force applied on your hands. So that's why you catch like this. Okay, I think it should be clear. A ball which is coming towards you having some momentum, it should have a large momentum. When you catch a ball, its final momentum becomes 0. So for changing this momentum from particular value to 0, by doing like this, by moving your hand in backward direction, you increase the time. And we know that force applied is inversely proportional to the time taken. So we can say the less force is applied on our hand. Okay. This is the explanation why you move your hand like this. Okay. What will happen if you do not move your hand like this? Then what will happen? The time taken by you to reduce the momentum of the ball is too short. It can be 0 seconds or it can be 0.001 seconds or okay, I am taking like 1 second. So again, in this case, the time is less. The time is less to change the momentum of the body. Since the time is less, so what will happen? The force applied will be more because force is inversely proportional to the time taken. So we can say if we catch a ball like this, we don't move our hand in backward direction, the force applied by the ball will be increases because the time taken to change the momentum of the ball to be 0 is decreased and force is inversely proportional to the time taken. So by decreasing the time, we can increase the force applied. So that hand can be hurt. So this is one of the application by we move a hand in backward direction while moving a fast moving a cricket ball. So you will explain this application. This is why you move a hand in backward direction when you catch a fast moving cricket ball. Okay, this is one of the application of Newton's second law. Now the another application. You have seen for a jumping athlete, they are provided some cushion or soil. So why we do like this? What happen if we provide them a cemented floor? So just you can think about it. What will happen if we jump on a cemented floor? Or what will happen if we jump on a soil, a porous soil? This, you can imagine that if you jump on a cemented floor, you will get hurt. Why it happened? I'm going to explain you. Suppose a person is moving with some velocity. It means a person having some mass, this person having a mass and having some velocity. And he is going to jump now. So it has some momentum. When he jump on a, first I am going to explain you when he jump on a soil, okay. This is the soil. If he jump on a soil, what happened? Actually, after jumping, after a short period of time, it come to be rest. The person will be on rest. It means its final velocity will become 0. So this person has some momentum. Now after jumping on a soil, its final velocity becomes 0. It means its final momentum will become 0. So you can say the momentum is going to be changes. Now we know that change in momentum is proportional to the force applied. So it means some force will be applied on the person. Now what will happen if a person jump on a soil? If we jump on the soil, since this soil is some porous, so it will take time, this person will take time to come to the rest. थोड़ा सा इसके अंदर जाएगा, मर्ज होगा और उसके बाद जाके रुक जाएगा. So it means the time taken to change the momentum up to the 0 is increases. And by increasing the time, we know that the force applied will be decreased because the force is inversely proportional to the time taken. So here in this case, when we jump on a soil, the time taken to decrease the velocity to the 0 to become 0 is increases. So by increasing the time, we can decrease the force applied on the person. So that's why the person do not get hurt. Now what will happen if we jump on a cemented floor? Again, if we jump on a cemented floor, then it has some momentum. When you jump on the floor, its final momentum will become 0. Now in this case, the momentum is going to be changes. So we can't change the value of the value of change in momentum. So it means some force will be applied on the person. Now if we don't, if we jump on a cemented floor, now the time taken to change our momentum to become 0 is decreased. It's very short period of time. In a very short period of time, its momentum becomes 0. So it means the time taken by this person to change the momentum is too short. And we know that the force is inversely proportional to the time taken. So we can say the force applied on the person will be large and he will get hurt. So these are the applications of Newton's second law. So first, for understanding this application, first we should know what is Newton's second law. And we should understand clearly that what is the Newton's second law. We should know that what is the Newton's second law. And this is the application. Okay. Now I will explain you Newton's third law. Okay, no, not Newton's third law. Okay, I am going to explain you some numerical based on the Newton's second law. This chapter is actually based on first chapter. If you don't know the numericals of Newton motion, you are not able to do the numerical of this chapter. So first, clear your first chapter, and then you will do the numerical of this chapter, second chapter, that is force and the laws of motion. Okay, let's do some numerical of this chapter from NCERT book. All of you will have this NCERT book. This is example 9.1 for page number 120. Again, I am telling you, if I am not clear about the numerical of chapter first, then you can't do the numerical of this chapter. So first do numerical of chapter 1 and then this chapter. So the question is, in every numerical of physics, first you write the values which is given in the question, like the constant force act on a body of mass 5 kg. So what is this? This is the mass of the body which is 5 kg. For a duration of 2 seconds, what is this? This is the time, which is 2 seconds. It increased the object velocity from 3 meter per second to 7 meter per second. So what is this? Since the velocity changes from 3 to 7, it means 3 meter per second is the initial velocity. Yes, this is the initial velocity, 3 meter per second. To 7 meter per second means this is the final velocity, 7 meter per second. Find the magnitude of applied force. Okay, so first you have to find the force applied. You know the formula for the force is equal to, according to the Newton's second law, we know that F is equal to m into a. This is the formula for finding the force of the body. How much force you are applying on the body, we can find by using this formula, F is equal to m into a. Then how will you find the value of a? Because we don't know the value, what is the acceleration. So first, by using these terms, we will find the acceleration. We have two methods of finding the acceleration. Either we will use a formula for the acceleration, that is v minus u upon t, or otherwise you can use the equation of motion. I think it is the best way to do the question, that you will apply the Newton's law of motion, that is v is equal to u plus at, first one. Second equation of motion, not the law of motion, sorry, this is the equation of motion. First equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at. Second one is the s is equal to ut plus half v square, and third one is the v square is equal to u square plus 2s. I told you that all the other three chapters are based on the first chapter. So first you should be clear first chapter. You should be clear for the first chapter. Okay, so we are going to find the acceleration by using the Newton's equation of motion. First equation of motion, that is v is equal to u plus at. So I am going to put the value here. 7 is equal to u is how much? 3 plus a we have to find in time is 2 seconds. So it will be 3 will be moved here. It will 4 is equal to 2a. Then what is the value of a? 4 divided by 2, that is 2 meter per second square. So first we find the value of acceleration by using the equation of motion. Now for finding that force applied, we will apply the formula F is equal to m into a by Newton's second law. So what is the mass of the body? It is 5, and acceleration is how much? It is 2 meter per second square. So that is 10 Newton is the force applied on the body. Okay. So this is one of the question, and the question is, which would require a greater force? Accelerate 2 kg mass. So mass is how much? It is 2 kg. At 5 meter per second square. And what is the acceleration? It is 5 meter per second square. Can you find the force applied? Yes, by m into a, that is 10 Newton. For the second case, the mass is 4 kg. So we can write it like m2, this one m1, a1, m2 is 5 kg, and the acceleration is 2 meter per second square. Acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So force is equal to m into a. It is again 10 Newton. So which would require a greater force? 5 to the 10. Okay, this was not 5 actually. This is 4 kg. I'm really sorry. This is 4 kg. Okay. So 4 to the 8. Yes. 8 Newton. So in first case, we are applying the greater force. Okay. Now the example 9.3. Example 9.3. A motor car is moving with a velocity of 108 km per hour. So what is this? This is the initial velocity. It is 108 km per hour. Now one more important thing about the velocities, that it should always be in meter per second. So we will convert it in meter per second by multiplying it by 5 upon 18. So 18, 6 jump. Yes, 30 meter per second. Okay. So this is the initial velocity of the motor car. It takes 4 seconds to stop. It means what is this? This is time. How much? 4 seconds to stop. Stop means the final velocity of the body becomes 0. That is v is equal to 0. So for every numerical, first you should note down the values which you get from the question. Okay. After the brakes are applied, calculate the force exerted by the brakes on the motor car if the mass along with passenger is 1000 kg. So what is the mass of the motor car? It is 1000 kg. For finding the force, we know that we should know the value of m and a. So we don't know the value of a. Again, we can find the value of acceleration by using the equation of motion. Which equation of motion you will use? First equation of motion. That is v is equal to u plus a into t. It will be minus 30 is equal to 4a. Then a is equal to minus 15 upon 2, or we can say minus 7.5 meter per second square. What is the meaning of this negative sign? It means the acceleration is actually retardation. We know that if the velocity decreases of a body, then its acceleration always be negative. Okay, now we have to find the force applied. So we will say F is equal to m into a. What is the value of mass? This is 1000 kg and acceleration is minus 7.5. You will always put the values along with their sign because force is also a vector quantity. So it is minus 7500 Newton. Okay. This is not the complete answer. You have to write what is the meaning of this negative sign. Actually, negative sign means the force is applied in the opposite direction of the motion of the body. Suppose the body is moving in this direction. So negative sign show that we are applying the force in opposite direction. So we will write in answer, this negative sign show that the force is applied in the opposite direction of the motion of the body. So this was the example 9.3. Okay. Now the example number 9.4. A force of 5 Newton gives the mass m1 and acceleration of 10 meter per second square. The numerical of this chapter is really easy as compared to the first chapter. A force of 5 Newton gives a mass m1 and acceleration of 10 meter per second square. So what is the value of force? It is 5 Newton. Gives a mass m1, acceleration of 10 meter per second square. Mass is m1 and acceleration is how much? 10 meter per second square. So can you find the value of mass? Yes, by applying the formula F is equal to m into a. Then what will be the value of m? M is equal to F upon a. It is 5 upon 10. Or we can say 0.5 kilogram. Yes, this is the mass. Okay, and a mass m to an acceleration of 20 meter per second square. So the same force is applied again, 5 Newton, on the mass m2 and the acceleration produced in this body is 20 meter per second square. 20 meter per second square. So what should be the mass of this body m2? It is force upon acceleration. It is 1 upon 4 kilogram. Okay, you can convert it to decimal, 0.25 kg. Okay, now what acceleration would it give if both the masses were tied together? If we tie both the masses together, then what should be the acceleration produced in the body? I think you should understand what is the meaning of the figure, or what is the meaning of this question. This is mass m1, and by applying this force, the acceleration produced in the body is 10 meter per second square. In second case, we are applying the same force on another body having different mass, and it produces an acceleration of 20 meter per second. So according to question, if we tie both the objects together and we are applying the same force, that is 5 Newton, then you have to find how much acceleration will be produced here in this case. So first, for finding the acceleration, we know that the formula is F is equal to m into a. Or for finding the acceleration, we should know F as well as the m. So by using this relation, we can find acceleration. So we know the value of force, that is 5 Newton. Now we have to find the mass of the body. Since we are combining the two mass together, So what should be the mass of the body now? 0.5 plus 0.25. Now the bodies which are tied actually having the mass of 0.75 kg. Acceleration produced in this body, in these two bodies together, will be force upon mass, 0.75. 25 3s are 20. It is 20 upon 3. You can convert it to decimal, 6.67 meter per second square. So this is the acceleration produced in the bodies when we tie two bodies together. Yes. Now one more question. This is the graphical question, or I think all of you will know what is the meaning of the graph. I explained you in lectures that what is the VT graph and what is the VT graph, and how we can calculate the different values of acceleration and the displacement by using these graphs. So this is the example number 9.5. A velocity time graph of the ball is 20 gram. So one more thing, the mass should always be in kilogram. So this is the VT graph, velocity time graph. Okay. Here in this part, the velocity is in centimeter per second square. Oh sorry, not the square, centimeter per second, and your time is in second. In a graph is like this, 20 to 10, like this. This is the value 10 and this is the value 20. Okay. So by using this graph, it is given that the mass of the ball is 20 gram. So first you will convert it into kilogram. 20 upon 1000, because you know that the SI unit of mass is kilogram. Okay, you have to find how much force is exerted on the ball to bring it to rest. If you want to bring a ball which is moving with a velocity of 20 meters per second to be in rest, then how much force you have to be applied here. So from this graph we can find the acceleration. For finding the force applied, we know that it is into it. We know the value of mass. Then how will you find the acceleration? From the VT graph, you want to find the acceleration. I explained you that you have to find the slope of the graph. So first you will find the slope of the graph. Acceleration is equal to slope of graph. And what is the meaning of the slope? That is perpendicular upon base. So it is perpendicular is how much? 0 minus 20. Because finally the velocity of the body becomes 0. Initially it was at 20. Upon the pace, that is 10. Okay, that is 0 and 0. So it is minus 2 meter per second square. So for this question you should know the meaning of the graph. It means first chapter should be clear. So force is equal to mass 20 upon 1000 multiplied with the acceleration, that is minus 2 meter per second square. So it is minus 0.4. Yes, no, 0.04. Yeah, Newton. Negative sign show that the force will apply in opposite direction of the motion of the body. 0.004. Okay. Okay, it is 20 upon 1000. 20 upon 1000. This is minus 2. Okay, yes. One more thing, it is in centimeter per second, yes. Okay. So that's corrected, it is centimeter per second. Now how will you convert the centimeter to meter? By dividing 8 by 100. So it will be 0.02 centimeter per second square. Okay. Now 0.02 is the acceleration, not centimeter, it will be now meter. 0.02. So by multiplying it, we will get 0.04 upon 100, which means 0.0004. Okay, let me check my answer. 3000. Yes, 000 Newton. So negative sign show that the force is applied in the opposite direction of the motion of the body. So these type of numerical are there in your books for um, which are based on Newton's second law. So okay, you will do the numerical of this chapter which are based on the Newton's second law, and in next video I will explain you Newton's third law. Okay, bye.